Uh, all right, what's up? Good evening, everyone. Welcome here to the BX Sports JEDI Network. And salute. Today we have a special topic we're going to talk about. It's about the World Baseball Classic. Does the World Baseball Classic have a PR problem? And when I mean PR, it's not just Puerto Rico problem. It is a public relation problem. But first and foremost, let me mind my manners. Let's say good evening to my partner here, Chris the Flash. How are you, Chris?
What's up, Kev? What's up, everybody in the chat? Everybody that's listening around the world. How y'all doing?
All right, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. It could be better. I know yesterday, what a thrilling game between Team Puerto Rico taking on Dominican Republic. It was a very exciting game. Back and forth with these two Caribbean nations. These two, my God, it's like the Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, but of the Caribbean. These two rivals, friendly rivals, and of course cousins, separated by miles apart with these two beautiful islands. And of course, at the end of the game, Puerto Rico wins. The post celebration on the mount, Edwin Diaz goes down with his patella. My God, I was like, oh no. I know you seen the video. I know you were working. Did you get to see where the way he it didn't look good for Edwin Diaz?
Yeah, I knew once his brother started crying, I knew it was horrible. And everybody stopped celebrating once they saw him go down. So I knew right instant it wasn't good.
Yeah, and to see that there, and that's not why I made this video and asked you to join me this evening, Chris. The reason why I'm making this video and speaking out is the aftermath. The hindsights, the trolls, the venom that was unleashed not just upon this World Baseball Classic, but all across here on a nation. Players wanting to represent their countries in this World Baseball Classic, and of course, and this is gonna be a little bit of a rough video. If I'm going to ask for right now, just forgive me if any words come out wrong or misinterpret. I'm going to be totally honest and raw as possible, as much as I always try to be. And first and foremost, I get in. I'm a big proponent of listening to WFAN New York, and of course, I said, "Oh my God, I cannot wait to hear what the Mets fans and the city of New York is going to have to say about this." And of course, I started my morning extremely early, and I put on the WFAN. Of course, they're the ignorance, because that's the perfect word, the ignorance and the moronic, and of course their takes, because they're right. They have the right to vent as well, like the way I'm going to vent, and we're going to vent here. For them to start saying about how this is a worthless tournament and how much for Puerto Rico, like the way they said it, like wasting their time representing Puerto Rico. And it's not about a Puerto Rico thing, it's also for those players that wanted to go play for Dominican Republic, for Japan, for Korea, for Italy, for Israel, for all those nations that are playing in the World Baseball Classic. And to do this, it's a national pride. But first and foremost, Chris, let me ask your thoughts here. Are you? Let me, and you'll be told. And this is why we're having this debate. Do you find it all right for these major league ball players to play in the World Baseball Classic?
Yeah, I feel like if you want to represent your country, why not represent it? Especially if you're a very prideful person. I don't understand this. I mean, I wish more Americans would do it, but the teams are too isolated. Oh no, I don't want them getting hurt. That's the first thing they think about. But I just don't understand that because, like we was talking earlier, you can get hurt doing anything. You sneeze too hard, you might hurt something. I just don't understand that. And then baseball want to have this model that the kids play. Well, if they want to represent their country, let them represent their country. Because sometimes, and it kills me to say this, uh, what Robin Fish said, the World Series is a piece of toy. So maybe representing their country might mean more than the World Series, because it feels like it. When I watch the baseball classic, it's way more exciting than the baseball we watch in America. That's just my opinion.
You hit on a perfect note there, and when you look at the crowds, when you look at the stadiums in Depot, Lone Depot Park, out in Chase Field in Arizona, you see that in all across the seas, the fan base of these countries. You see that the yesterday you had the back and forth with the guiro, that's the instruments, and the pandareta of the different from different countries, from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. The chorus, the singing, the community, the love, the war cry of battle, of rooting on their players. You're not gonna, and believe me, everyone knows us here as the Sports Jedi Network. We are the home of the Bronx Bomber Strike Back, watch along, all the Yankees, as well as Chris the Flash does all the Yankees content. We got our friends, the Yankee Morning Brew, as well as Mikey Mazda with Grunt Baseball, and so forth. And my point is, we love baseball. We love New York Yankee baseball, and we're in no way in hell we're gonna see what we saw in Lone Depot Park in July in Yankee Stadium. You're not. You're gonna probably see it opening day, and after that, you're not gonna see crap. You're not gonna see the Yankee fans not get that passionate, unless if there's two strikes and that's it. But not through the whole game. Not that energy that we saw yesterday, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, like the closest I could say a crowd like that in Yankee Stadium was probably when we was winning the championships, the dynasty years, and that was old Yankee Stadium. Because this Yankee Stadium is nothing but rich people, lawyers. They don't care.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Chris. Also, our stadiums we're being outpriced. You know what? That freaking ticket for Major League Baseball is expensive for a family of four. We're being outpriced out of the damn arenas. And I don't know. You know what? I never checked the Lone Depot. I didn't check the World Baseball Classic. I'm only 3 hours away, give and take, from the arena to where Lone Depot Park is in Miami. I didn't check it. Whatever the case was. I'm pretty sure, and you see the droves of people there in that park. I'm pretty sure it's affordable. If not, you know what? If it's not affordable, it's the same ticket as the Major League Baseball ticket. Kudos to these players. They're telling you that these fans wants to go see their team, their national team. They want to spend the money, and then you got jerks, from FAN, from Sal Licata. Yeah, I'm gonna call them out, talking about how his worthless baseball classic and how it's, he sounded like a bigot. And the thing that sucks that you're in the radio where you're in the biggest market in New York and you sound like a damn bigot on the Boomer and Geo morning show. You sound like a damn bigot, and that sounds terrible. You're in a position of media where you influence people, and of course, and the thing is, you got a few rotten potatoes that ruins a sack. Not only that, then you have Michael Kay, and I can't believe he actually came out and made it seem that way. I'm actually, because yes, the Yankees have a couple players in the World Baseball Classic. I believe Gabriel Torres in there, a few others. Also, I know that they didn't tell Luis Severino not to go because he has an injury history, and they were concerned about injuries. I understand what these major league clubs are worried about players getting injured, Chris. I get it. But you cannot tell a player who grew up in Dominican Republic, in Panama, in Nicaragua, in Colombia, and that's just the Latin countries, because I know I've seen where some of these young kids, they play barefooted. They have, Mariano Rivera, if you look at his bio, said he didn't have the gloves, milk cartons. They play with sticks. They use a piece of rock. They make up a ball. They one glove, and they love the sport of baseball. In Puerto Rico, the clinics of baseball. The kids are learned from young how to play baseball. They use this talent to manifest and come entertain us spoiled Americans, because yes, we live here. I was born and raised here, but I'm descendant of Puerto Rican and Honduran. I'm Hispanic, but I was born here. I'm American first and foremost, and we're sitting here like a bunch of spoiled, non-prideful nation, and putting on players that want to go play for their country. because one guy in a celebration, it wasn't even doing a baseball move, gets injured. And I get it. If this, and I go, oh, if this is Aaron Judge, you would have been up in arms. I would have been disappointed. Yes, I would have been. I would have been bummed and upset. But you know what? He went and represented the red, white, and blue, where a lot of our young kids who are 18, 21 years old go out there, defend our country for our freedoms, and they die. They come back in a casket, and they wear that uniform permanently. They get buried in that uniform. And you know what? I respect that. And we're worried about someone who's get injured who could get back and get healed. He didn't die. He got hurt. I understand that. Why aren't we not uproaring for those kids that don't come back home to their mothers? You know, they come back in a casket, or they come back with missing a limb, an arm. Where's that at, Chris? And I know sports is fanatics. We're fanatics as fandom, but my God.
Yeah, like there's people so hungry and starving to come to the states any means possible. Like I was saying earlier too. Look at the Vlad Guerrero. Look at you know Mariano Rivera, Pedro Martinez. Latin players like that were so hungry to get out of their country and help their families out. And people look at Glaber, like I told you, look at Glaber and Gary. Not every Spanish, speaking person is like that. I know, they happy, they feed their families and stuff like that, but they're not as hungry as those former players, because they probably got, like, I don't know their background and stuff like that, but it seemed like they didn't take advantage of their gifts that they was blessed to have. Like Pedro now. Like Pedro knew, once he got out that mile, he would have had to, go see his family in a different country and see how they living and stuff like that, because they're not living the same way he's living. So I just don't understand that when you want to go play for your country and you want to represent and you want to show how baseball is really played, go do that and go represent, because I hope these American people realize that just like soccer, baseball is run by a lot of Spanish speaking people. It ain't just all white. So I just, like, I don't understand that at all.
I
wish they had more and look at African Americans.
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Chris. Finish your thoughts.
Because no. It's just like we as people, we shouldn't be controlling. Like I see it all the time with especially African Americans. Oh, they ain't got enough African people, African Americans playing baseball. You need to be playing basketball or football. But if they, that's why I love CC so much, and Curtis Granderson, people like that, King Griffey Jr. They show African Americans that, oh, we just as good at baseball than anybody else, but we don't take the time to go into these inner cities and the youth and teach them how to play, because we still worried about other stuff that doesn't make sense.
And I'm glad you touched about that inner youth. And there's also, and of course, this is a big topic, fellas. But I apologize that we seem a little bit all over the place. But we're gonna hit it chronologically, and we might be going back to some of these parts again. We're going back and rehashing. I'm glad you mentioned the inner city. One thing is problematic. It's a freaking problem, Chris. Is these baseball in the United States. And this is funny because we're named United States of America, but we are the most ununited freaking nation right now, in at least in the northern hemisphere. We are so undivided. We are so divided, ununited. My goodness, it phantoms, and it's, of course, you could get into so many different ways: politics, race, everything from all over. But I digress. Let's get back right into the Little League. These Little League, when and I don't want to sound like an old man here. I'm gonna date myself. I am 40 mid 40s, man. I coach. I play baseball. I grew up in the Little League. I grew up in the Bronx, and I'm telling you, baseball has become a country club sport in the United States of America. Because now, if your son or your daughter doesn't make the travel team, there is no chance for them to play anywhere. These leagues are expensive. to play because you need insurance in case they get hurt. You got to get travel league. Some of these parents, and I'm seeing it from New York to here and down in Florida, from relatives of our own. They have to take. Oh, we're gonna buy an RV. We're gonna go invest in an RV because we're gonna be part of the travel team, and we have to go play across country and play. Give me a break. These parents, right now, when these parents got to work, both parents got to work 2 jobs just to afford to live, to keep the roof on our heads and with the electric on. Then you're talking about little league sports, and I understand we do whatever the hell we can for our kids, and work, and we have to do to give them the best because let's face it, when you see these contracts being handed out to these major league ball players, you want your kids to make that money as well, Chris. And my problem is these sports, the PSAL is dead pretty much in New York. Before, you used to go on the police athletic league and get uniforms, even if it was a crummy T-shirt, but you're playing baseball with some gloves. They'll give you programs which you get gloves, bats. The little league now, you gotta get these $300 gloves, these bats. I understand you want to get the best equipment because you want to further and invest in a talent, but my God, we have relatives that they go on the travel team and they spend thousands of dollars, and then you're like, oh man, maybe they might get somewhere, and then they don't even get a scholarship because they end up drafting, and there's nothing wrong with that, getting a player outside of the country because it's so much rigmarole, Chris, and I believe this little league with all the expenses are pushing you can't afford it. You can't afford to play baseball, and that's why you come back to the African American and the inner city Latinos. They cannot play and get to the major league levels, or their talent goes wasted. I'm guarantee you, in this inner cities in Detroit, New York, Chicago, New Orleans, there's some great baseball players that their talent goes to waste, and they just become great softball players because they couldn't even get a chance, a sniff at getting a college scholarship or even looked at because of where they're from, and that sucks.
And we forgot one word too, and it's throughout the whole. And it kills me to say this because it's sports, even the little leagues. It's politics. Get out, like that needs to be out of the sports. Period. That should never be in sports.
I agree, and the thing is, it's starting to sleep in. Baseball was one of the first ones. I'm telling you, Chris, baseball was one of the first ones. Seeing it firsthand, I coached, I managed little league team, from 7-year-old to 14-year-olds. Okay, I stopped playing baseball and I gave up my summer before becoming a father. I will go and go out there in the summertime as a young man, okay, and I will help my uncles, my uncle coach, manage my own little league team, and you know what my motivation was? You know what? Some of these kids, that's when crack cocaine was hitting the New York area hard. You know what? I had to go pick up kids to go practice and get them to the game, and their mother will be high as a kite. I mean, drugged out. And I would just, you know what? Come, I'm taking you. You know what? I'm going to go teach you baseball. You know what? I'm going to distract you. Kids got to get away from that distraction, from that life, and not see that. That's what baseball and sports, inner city sports, represent. But no, everything has to be money, and you need to have money and financial. Oh my goodness! And if you don't have this money, you can't play here. You're sucked. You're terrible because your parents don't have the money to benefit, and that's what sucks, and that's what's hurting the team. And it's what's taking away from national pride in this team. They want to grow the game of baseball, Chris. They want to grow the game of baseball globally. What is the name of the championship in Major League Baseball?
World Series.
Exactly. So if you want to call it a World Series, wouldn't it look nicer to say a representative from the Far East taking on the representative from America, or from the Caribbean world champion taking on the United States North American champion? Then you call it a World Series. That is to be called a World Series because you're incorporating the world. I mean, and of course, and it's not, but the World Baseball Classic is meaningless. You know what? Then let's have a conversation about fixing it. You don't want it before spring training. Well, what happens after the World Series is over? But then you miss a couple And it's always gonna. It's always, and it seems like Chris, the World Baseball Classic is always played in the damn same cities. It's gonna be either Arizona, Florida, and it doesn't move, or San Diego. So guess what? The weather is always good all year long. Let's play it in November then. Let's play it in
Yeah,
November.
I agree.
That's all.
I agree with that.
And also another thing, we don't send our best players.
Nope.
Team USA, since the start of the World Baseball Classic, never send their best players. I remember the first baseball classic. Why isn't Clemens going on? Why isn't Randy Johnson going pitch? My goodness, we could really be dominant. And I still remember that first World Baseball Classic. I mean, it was like, you send that pitcher there. He sucks. Why is he pitching for Team USA? and I was like, there's much better pitchers than that Team USA. The point is, but they had a right to represent the country. No one said anything when Derek Jeter went and played for Team USA. He went there because he loved this country. He wanted to play for. The thing that kills me is the Met fans. The hypocrisy again, and it's not. And again, I'm a Yankee fan. We're Yankee fans. I respect the Mets. I have no ill will with the Mets, and I have videos, and I've been saying this for years now. There's a lot of distasteful Met fans, and they have a lot of animosity. I don't know what the hell is it, where it comes from, to Latin, especially the Puerto Rican players. And it starts with, and I can give you case in point for years after years. Oh, they didn't play well. Well, you didn't give them a chance to get acclimated in the city. From Bobby Bonilla, they couldn't stand Bobby. They were throwing batteries at Bobby Bonilla in the outfield. Carlos Vallega, Roberto Alomar, Carlos Delgado. Hey, some guys fall off a cliff or they had a bad season. They wanted to run. Beltran, who could have been one of their best center fielders, took a strike 3. Now they love him because he's in the freaking club, the front office. But they couldn't stand him because of that St. Louis game. They called strike 3. Chris, refresh my memory. Wasn't it not last year, 2 years ago, they were running Edwin Diaz out of freaking town? Met fans couldn't stand him because he wasn't. When he came over that first year from Seattle, he wasn't good. He had one renaissance year last year, and good for him. He made that contract. But the Met fans, they have amnesia. They hated him. They didn't want him. They wanted to get rid of Carlos. They wanted to get rid of Lindor last year. Oh, it's not hitting. He's one of the worst stars. Buyer's remorse. I remember the same Salicata with the buyer's remorse. That now he's upset because Edwin Diaz got hurt. The same thing happened with Javi Baez with the thumbs down. They couldn't stand him. Oh, they better not bring him back here. I mean, Chris, am I making this up, or is this is all factual that has happened with the Mets?
No, I mean it's true. I mean, even you forgot to play. I mean, I don't think he's from Puerto Rico, but look how they treated Reyes. They chose David Wright. They chose David Wright. Couldn't stay healthy, but Reyes was consistent for them.
Right. Reyes and they had to choose because the cheap Wilpons at that time couldn't afford most of them. So they wanted to go with the white bread, David Wright, who never could stay on the field. To me, I don't see what the hell there's nothing there he's nothing to write home about. Oh, but he leads the Mets in all these stats. Empty calories. I don't see. When I think of David Wright, I think of Mets losing. I don't see him as a winning ball player for that organization. He was never top in his numbers, and they decided to get El Morenito out of there, which is the Jose Reyes. They let him walk because they wanted to keep David Wright because they pleased the fans and made the fans happy. They were, and of course, when they had Armando Benitez as a closer, he had a couple hiccups. I understand he fell apart, but my God, they felt like they were going to lynch that guy. Once the line ball player has 1 ounce of failure, they whip him. They whip him hard. They whip him. The Met fans ride him, and they ride him extremely hard. The only one that they didn't really whip, and they rid a little hard, but they didn't whip was Bay. Jason Bay was the only one that they rid him hard, and that's it. That's it. Be honest with you. Any other one of their free agents that suck that come over to the Mets, if it's Latino, they're gonna ride them hard. If it's not, they'll take it easy. And Met fans, I got a thing to tell you. Steve Cohen, his wife is Puerto Rican, so I don't know. You're gonna hate Steve Cohen now because it seems like you don't like the Hispanic anything. It seems like it. I'm sorry, Met fans, if it sounds like that, but there's a look at the trajectory. Open up and look at the history of the Mets here. It's and of course, dude, and that's why I asked: does the World Baseball Classic and Major League Baseball have a PR problem? And it's not just a Puerto Rican; it's a public relations, a nightmare right now because you got a lot of the American media don't want the players to go and they want this change. And baseball's trying to grow the game. They changed the rules here. They want to put a pitch clock to get it interesting, to get the American viewers to be interested in a quick game because everybody wants something quick. Everybody wants a microwave. Everybody loves quickies. Everybody wants a nice quickie. In and out, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You know, NBA, oh, how can we make the NBA game more quicker? How can we make the NFL game more quicker? And, you know, so what's the, you know, they want to make MLB baseball quicker. They want to make the change and change, make it gimmicky. So Chris, let me ask you this: what's the give here? I mean, what's your thoughts on this?
I just feel like it doesn't matter in any sport. It doesn't matter what happens. There's always going to be certain people unpleased about the sport. You can't make everybody happy, but you keep taking away certain stuff from the game. It's gonna really make the old fans. Like I'm not even that old, and I love how baseball played. Maybe because I played baseball since middle school, and I don't have a problem with it. But right. it's the fact that y'all keep trying to y'all saving a couple of minutes, but it just doesn't make sense. Certain rules doesn't make sense. Like that ghost running crap. Take that out the game. That doesn't make sense. Like I don't have a problem with the pitch clock. The pitch clock is fine because it has been working in spring training. But then y'all also got a thing with the batter. Why? So if they don't hurry up and get in the batter's box, you're gonna give them a strike? That's stupid. I don't know. It's just I don't know. My attention span is not small, so I don't understand it. I mean, I understand people, you know, attention spans is not that bright or whatever. Yeah, and I was about to say when you was talking earlier, I'm gonna say this one word, and it's from a good funny movie from Adam Sandler. I'm gonna be that random dude that's in Happy Gilmore, and I'm gonna call certain Mets fans, "You jackass." That's all I'm gonna say. You jackass, because trust me, if we had half them players that was on y'all team, we probably would have won way more World Series with the Yankees, because y'all had good players. Y'all had Jose Reyes, y'all had Carlos Beltran in his prime, y'all had Carlos Delgado, y'all had Pedro Martinez, y'all had Santana. Y'all had good Latin players, and y'all didn't treat them with the respect that they deserve.
And they wanted to get rid of Omar Minaya because they called him a racist for just bringing too many Latin ball players. The Met fans himself, who treated all these players like crap, and because Omar Minaya just started to bring in an influx of Latin players where they were winning. Remember, and of course they collapsed a couple of times. We know that Met fans know the history, because why? They put their hands on Tommy Glavine. The saving grace of the Atlanta Braves, the white boy Tommy Glavine. He folded like a cheap suit. Come on, man.
And I'm gonna say this too before any Mets fans come and talk about us. You know why we ridiculed Gary Sanchez and Gleyber Torres? Because they don't play with heart. They don't play with heart. Lindor, even though sometimes he might play bad, he gives it his all. Ray is the same way.
We wish we had that.
That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. Now, Robinson Cano, yeah, we might say he's a little lazy sometimes, but guess what? You could tell he wanted to win, though. He got us a championship. I can't say that for Gary and Gleyber. And to me,
I'd even take it even back one more further. Ray Ordonez. When he played that, I remember Ray Ordonez, very passionate shortstop. He couldn't hit for crap. He couldn't hit himself out of a wet paper bag. but he was a hell of a defensive, and he played with a lot of fire and heart. I remember that game in the it was it was just a inter inter interleague play, Yankees Mets. He came around and scored the winning run on a base hit on one of those games, and he was fired up like Lindor, like passionate, like you thought he won the 7th game of the World Series, the way he rounded the base and when he scored, that joy he had. Those kind of players gravitate not just to the Yankees or Met fans, to the city of New York.
And I'll say this because most people should know. Now, who I tell you, who's my favorite player that the Yankees had? It's CeCe, right? Guess who's my second favorite player that ever played for the Yankees? Alfonso Soriano.
There you go.
A Latin player that almost won us a World Series, but like by himself with that home run. So, and I wish they would have never traded him, but I know they had to. But that's one of my other favorite players, and he's Latin, and we loved him.
Right. And it's not just about the land and the white American player, the African American player. It's about the hustle. If you hustle, this is one thing about. And I told you from the very beginning, I didn't like the trade from Harrison Bader. Everybody knows that. Everyone and their mother knows how much I was a pour of getting Harrison Bader. But you know what he did? He hustled and played his ass off in the playoffs for the New York Yankees. He won me over by his hard play, his hustle, his hunger to go after the ball, hit the baseball, be clutch, bring that energy, to the Yankees that was much needed. That's what we look at. That's what we want to see. And of course, this goes back to the World Baseball Classic, that kind of player. You see that from everyone that plays on any of these national teams. And they're not getting paid millions of dollars. You know why they're doing it? Because they want to showcase their nations that saw them grow up and saw them be raised in those countries, no matter how much of a difficulty they went through, struggles. We don't know all their struggles and all their misfortunes, all their hardship, but they still they were blessed with a talent to make generational changing money and come out of that nation that gave birth to them, and how they want to reward their nation, go and represent them and make their country, make that flag that they were born in proud, by going out there and playing their asses off in front of the world, because it's a World Baseball Classic, and show those fans that pay their hardworking money to go see them on a meaningless or worthless exhibition, like Sal Licata was calling all day on the fan, worthless baseball classic. And they went out there and they're busting their rear end. And you see when they score 1 run, when they score 2 runs, when they win, they have that love, that passion. They feel it. They feel that there is a love, or my God, emotion that is not even the TV. You feel it watching it at home. The passion on every of these pro players, no matter what country it is, that love they have for their country, that patriotism that this country is missing in the United States. And my God, and of course, I was born here, and this is my home. This is the land that gave birth to me here, United States. But my parents are from outside of this country, and I see that love that they have, and sometimes I get jealous that our own nation doesn't have sometimes that patriotism. I'm like, my God, we are in such a great nation because our parents decided to come here and risk their lives to come live here. And my God, can we have that same love that they miss their country? And sometimes I feel like, damn, I wish this pride will be coming out here when we play other nations. That's why I get frustrated with soccer. We should be, why haven't we got that pride, that love, and be dominant in that damn sport where we have the best of the best here, and we still can't do anything in that damn realm of soccer. So it's like it's just all that frustration there, and I see that, and I appreciate the World Baseball Classic. Listen, if you don't want to watch it, like some of these folks, don't watch it then. Don't watch it. But we're going to continue, but don't criticize it. Don't mock it if you're not watching it and don't have a full grasp of what happened. It's easy to be a sideline troll and start trolling when you're not watching it or you're not investing in it.
And like, I'm gonna say this too, because probably 90% of the Mets fans probably didn't watch it. They just saw Aaron Diaz got hurt and they want to complain. Watch the game first and see what happened before you start making judgments and basing your opinion off other people's opinions. He didn't get hurt playing baseball. He got hurt celebrating. Like that
and
doesn't make sense.
and it was revealed, Chris, that I think he had a compromised knee before that. Also, Chris, he could have got hurt fielding drills covering first base on a punt. The way he's running to the base, stepping on the bag, he could have got hurt doing that right there. So then the Mets, guess what? The Mets will be on the books to pay all that money. He has an insurance. And I know you want the player. I know that, Met fans, I know you want Edwin Diaz to be there closing out games. And I know you don't care about the money either, because there's insurances, and Stevie will bring a closer in. Yes, he will make that. He will make that move that needs to better your ball club. Of course, who wouldn't want Reyes? Diaz back closing out. I understand that, but his insurance is going to cover it. Met fans are not going to be in the title. Stevie Cohen is not going to pay out of his pocket. He's not going to come out of the luxury tax, all that other nonsense. Financially, Mets are covered. Listen, the number one unanimous Hall of Famer one time was shagging fly balls in center field, and he tore up his knee, and his name was Mariano Rivera. For the New York Yankees, just snagging fly balls that he normally does. It happens. I know it sucks, but our greatest closer, and that's when we were middle of we had a good team there. And the Yankees were always in World Series contention when you had the core four, and you had Mariano Rivera, always in contention. You always had that, and he tore his knee in the Kansas City, out of all places. It happens, and it sucks. It happened. They say, "Oh, you didn't happen to your team." Yes, it did. It happened to our closer as well. Things happen, Chris. Things happen, unfortunately, and it sounds easier for us to say things happen. Oh, move on. No, it sucks for the Mets because they had World Series aspiration. I understand that, and I know he might have been the heart and soul of that bullpen. I understand that, but it's still time here that they could go now and rectify it with, you could bring in a Britton. You could sign, guarantee whoever's the hot closer and the team is completely kaput. The Mets will be in on a trade for it. Chris, they're not going to stay with their hands folded.
Nah, like Cohen's gonna figure something out. I mean, you can even trade for his younger brother.
And by the way, Chris, there was a report that they almost had him last season.
See, I mean, there's plenty of closers. I mean, you got David Bednar from the Pirates. I just want them to understand when Diaz do come back, please don't criticize how crappy he is or trash or anything. Give that man time too to recover and come back as even if it's 90% of his former self. Don't throw him away like he's used trash because he got hurt and he's not the same player. You gotta give this man time.
Indeed, and we'll see if they do. And this is gonna be interesting too.
Because I already know what's gonna happen. I already know what's gonna happen. Oh, he ain't the same person. Oh, he. But you gotta realize the way he throws, he's gotta use his leg. So you gotta let him build his strength up on his legs. It's gonna take some time. That's a serious injury. That's just like Tommy John for the pitches.
Yes, I was gonna say that. You gotta let him build that strength on that knee.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I don't know, Kev. It just is people so ignorant, and people don't care. That's the problem.
Perfect word. That's the perfect word. And the thing is that, and of course, I put the video. And when I first saw it, the guy from and he works for KFC Barstool. He turned on to have a tantrum. They're like a little 5-year-old because he didn't even see the game. He just heard about it. Oh my goodness, dude, you're freaking almost mid-aged man acting like a fool there. Acting like a fool because I understand it sucks when your player gets hurt. My God, but my goodness. And then the venom, the venom and the nastiness that comes out of the person's heart about about the team, the nation. How it phantoms my mind how people blaming team. Oh, because he went to go play on that crappy team Puerto Rico team. No, it's not crappy. Respect. The same way we respect Team Japan, the way we respect Mexico, the way we respect Venezuela, the way we respect Nicaragua, we respect Australia. We respect those nations. You respect Puerto Rico as well. They're not a crappy Puerto Rican national team either. So please respect that KFC bar sport. You know, if you cannot control your emotions at that moment, you shouldn't be putting a live reaction video then.
And I didn't see the interview, but you got to be one idiot to say that Puerto Rican team is not good. They just beat one of the best teams in the World Baseball Classic. You had Machado, Juan Soto. Who else was on that team?
My God, that team was loaded, Chris.
That's what I'm saying.
You had Julio Rodriguez. You had Willie Adames.
Yeah, Devers.
You had Rafael Devers on that team. That Dominican Republic team was stacked. That's the bullpen arms that they bought out there. Mm-hmm. My God, that and Rio, I'm sorry I saw your comment early there. Rio says, still in shock. My country lost, bro. The game meant so much to me as a Dominican man. Now go win this Puerto Rico. Rio, thank you for your support. Thank you for that comment about 20 minutes ago. I saw it there. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you for gracias por el apoyo que lo están dando. You know what? La República Dominicana is always going to be a baseball powerhouse, always, and our respect to our cousins and our brothers in the Caribbean. You guys, it was a hell of a game, back and forth. It was really good. The Dominican team was stacked, Chris. Mm-hmm. My God. So, yes, we are Chris D. We are Yankee fans, but we're not hating on the Mets. We're more on the Met fans, the ignorant Met fans that do not like the Hispanic ball players. And it shows there from the Lindor, and of course, like I mentioned, not to go back in circles on our video earlier, just about 20 minutes ago, about the examples on how the Met fan turns so vicious on the Latin ball player, especially from the Puerto Rican descent, and of course, you're starting to see that. But yes, we are Yankee fans. We do the Bronx Bombers strike back here, watch along. We do the watch alongs when the Yankee season starts. Me and Chris do as many Yankee videos as possible. Chris has his channel as well, Chris the Flash, and of course, we do it here. The Caribbean Yankee players, yes, what's going to happen, Chris? Let me ask you this. Let's look a little bit ahead here. What happens when the Martian, and he looks like he's on trajectory to being a hell of a ball player? When Dominguez, when Peraza wants to play in the World Baseball Classic. Will Major League Baseball put clause now not allowing players to play because of this? I think not. I think you let them play if they want to play.
Yeah, that would be a PR nightmare for people not to play for their country. I mean, especially it gives them the reason to go back home too. So it's like, why would you want them to stop doing that? Me personally, I think a gold medal is just as more important than a championship in any sport, because not only you get to win a gold medal and stand on that podium, you get to put the flag that you represent for your country. That means so much. And this is coming from a white person, a Caucasian from the United States. And I know how much it means.
It does, Chris. It does. It means a lot for them. And it's going to be interesting with Manfred, because he wants to grow this. If he's going to get any heat, blowback from the owners, you should hear the comments from the Met fans. Well, Steve Cohen should call every Met player back from the World Baseball Classic and have their butts in Port St. Lucie right now and get them away from the World Baseball Classic. You selfish pig. Seriously. And that's the word, to be PG. You selfish pig. These guys are out there representing this country. You're going to leave the country high and dry because of the Mets. Oh, but this is the World Series. We're winning about championships. I get it. But they know what they got into when they signed up for the World Baseball Classic. When they were going to have it, they knew what was involved there. That's why we love Brandon Nimmo, because Nimmo said it was more important. Listen, Brandon Nimmo had a choice. Maybe he wasn't selected to go to Team USA, or if he was, whatever the case was, he opted not to. And respect the fact. Judge was asked, and Garrett Cole. both they declined not to go. They didn't want to go to the World Baseball Classic. They wanted to stay with the Yankees because they didn't want to be in Arizona. And I respect that. They said no, and you respect that. If they would have went Team USA, guess what? We would have been watching Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole playing for Team USA because that's what we
Hmm.
do as a Yankee fan. We want to see our guys do well. It's the back and forth, the minutia of it. It's very unput. It was very off-putting, very uncolorful, very tasteless, and personally it has left me a bad taste with sports talk, especially New York sports talk. I'm very disappointed with with a lot of them radio hosts with it. I understand that everyone should be agreeing with the same content or with the same stuff because then we'll be all boring. We'll be all the same. Oh, you won't be yes man, or we. That's what makes us individuals because we have our own opinions and thoughts. But when your thoughts come from a dark place or a distasteful place, it is off-putting, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's too much narrative in sports. I mean, just I don't know. It's just too much. It's like it should be about sports. That's all it should be about, just sports. And people just make it this big thing. And look, I'm just gonna say this. I know it's just random, but I'm gonna give you an example, like Trevor Bauer. You know, the whole incident and stuff like that.
Yes.
That woman chose to do that. That's the problem with people don't understand. She chose to do that. She signed a piece of paper. Yes, I don't agree him abusing a woman, even though they want that. But she chose that. But you're making this man into this. Oh, he's abusive and this and that. It doesn't make sense. If players want to go play for their country, and especially Met fans, some of the Met fans, that doesn't mean they're doing something wrong. To me, they're doing something right.
Right.
So it's just the narrative, like, oh, what did they get hurt doing this? Well, guess what? If they took a bath, drop the soap, and slip on it, then what you gonna say? Oh, they shouldn't be taking baths no more?
Right. There's so many different incidents where players got hurt doing just regular random stuff. Didn't do an assessment, fall off a tractor or doing something at home. Things happen. Bobby Ojeda cut his finger cutting the hedges at in his house. There's so many different. Larry Walker got hurt, in a golf course on a team function where the shoelaces got caught and he twisted his ankle, broke his ankle, and there's been so many different players and so many incidents. Just regular stuff, random stuff. There's risk in everything, dude. And let God protect all of us. We might get hurt just going to work, dude. Coming back from work, these poor players could get hurt. Look at Pete Alonso last year. He got crashed into in Tampa heading home from a spring training game. Things happen, Chris. You never know. Risk and I understand. Well, he could have been avoided. You know what? In the baseball diamond, is most protected place he could be. What did you want him to be? And of course, and again, it's gonna sound sensitive. It's going to be a little, and I apologize if it does sound insensitive. Do you want him to be on a boat and hit a buoy like the way the late Jose Fernandez we couldn't see at night? You know what I mean? He was in the field. And of course, I can apologize because he's a great talent. But things happen. Accidents happen. You know what? He has the right to go fish. He has the right to go hang out on his boat. Things happen. Accident. Dermot Munster flew a plane, and it fell. He had a plane accident, crash. Things happen. Things
Roy
are out of
Halladay.
our control. Roy Halladay, exactly.
Mhm.
Things happen out of the control, out of the normal. When it's your time, it's your time. Things happen. Listen, I'm one of those that believe in my faith that says things happen for a good reason. And then sometimes it sucks. The Bible says it, and I don't want to bring it in. I didn't want to bring into this because you don't make politics and religion and none of our talks here. But things happen for a good reason. I know it may not look great right now, and I know Met fans, what good is that? No, I'm not saying that. That's not good. I'm not saying it's good, but something positive. Think about it. Maybe there's an opportunity for one of the young relievers to step up that we didn't think of. Maybe it's a Tyler McGill, someone in your organization might step up and you might have a bridge here for closer. Steven Ridings, who came over from the Yankees. You never know. He might just take that leap with the Mets. And you know how much the Mets will gloat? If Steven Ridings, who they picked up on waivers, comes over to the Mets and he becomes their closer, dominant, and not only that, they got their redheaded fire assassin there against the Yankees, and oh my God, they'll believe me, they'll have their buttholes bigger than Tony Khan's mouth. My goodness. Yeah, telling you, Chris, things happen. Next man up. I know nobody's want to hear those damn cliches after your $100 million closer goes down. Next man up. I think the Mets are going to be okay, man. They're going to struggle maybe in a little bit, but they'll fix it. They'll be there. They'll be one of the top teams there. They have a hell of a manager, an owner who spends money. Billy Epler, general manager that knows what this team needs and wants and going to pounce on it. And it sucks, but the Met fans pump the brakes on the vicious venom. My goodness, that's all we're asking right here.
And this is another thing too, because this is how ignorant people are too. Now, Kev told me this before we got on air too, and I didn't really do no research about it, so that's why I never say something. But apparently, he already had an issue with his legs anyway. So if it didn't happen in the World Baseball Classic, it would have happened in spring training or when the season started. So then, what you gonna blame it on then?
Right.
Like it's always an excuse for something, and they gotta chill out with that. Because they're trying to get rid of the All-Star game too for baseball. They gotta chill out. You're taking away the fun parts of the game.
Right. They called. Didn't they call the All-Star game boring? Oh, it's a meaningless exhibition game. Well, people don't want to watch it. People don't want to even play. They try to make it where home field advantage matters to try to make people to watch. People don't hardly watch it on a summer night. But let me tell you one thing, Chris. That game between Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, the numbers of All-Stars you had on both teams, my goodness, that was an All-Star game.
Yep.
That was an All-Star level game with from Lindor, from the Puerto Rican national team, with all the different pitchers they brought out there. So in Dominican Republic with their pitching staff, Johnny Cueto, my goodness, for all the hitters up and down that lineup, that was like an All-Star game. Dude, the who's there. That tomorrow Puerto Rico takes on Mexico. When Venezuela takes on the United States on Saturday, that's another All-Star game that you're going to see with Venezuela and United States. That's and for the Venezuelans who are going through their hardships in their country, those that are come here for political asylum, that are living here in the United States. Listen, I know that because we happen to help out a lot of them here in Central Florida with the different food pantries. They come from Venezuela with nothing. Some of my apprentices, they come looking for a better life with asylum, and they see that their national team playing and winning, and the coverage and that momentary escape from their hardship as coming to this country and seeing their national team being represented, being top and winning and having their flag flying because they won a game. That takes away from that moment of escape of all the hardship, asylum, all the troubles, and they feel prideful to being a Venezuelan. Those are the type of thing. That's what sports does, Chris. But meanwhile, here, us Americans, we're blaming a national team, worthless baseball classic. They're not seeing the bigger picture of why we have this World Baseball Classic, why we have these games, these international games, why it's a big deal. Why do we enjoy playing these international games? Because for some of us, it's escape from the people that are watching their home country. It's an escape from the crap that they've left their home, and it gives them that piece of joy, of pride of their nation, of why they were born there, why they grew up, saluting their flag. And being proud for where they come from. Listen, whenever I hear anything from the Bronx, Chris, you know me, I get very extremely prideful. Oh man, from even in wrestling, when we see Damian Priest, the pride of the Bronx, out there wrestling, you see, my goodness, all the different members of the Bronx, there's so many names out there. I get prideful because because we grew up in that same area. We went through the same struggles, the same, we ate the cheese that was given to us because we didn't have the means there, the butter, the peanut butter. We went to the shitty schools. We grew up in that same environment, seeing the crack pipes in the basketball court, cleaning the baseball fields in order to play because there was garbage and litter. We went, and you know what? We overcame, and we came, and we were better. But we remember our roots, and that's why when we hear someone make it from those nations, from our regions, or from our countries, we get prideful because we identify. And I think that's what's missing here in this aspect with these folks that are sitting behind a keyboard, entitled and spoiled brats. And it comes, and it's not because it's not just kids. It's all about all age. And it's showing the way that venom that's coming out.
Yeah, it's just you could tell who cares and who really don't care. And if it ain't got nothing to do with them, they don't care. But guess what? There's people that's not even playing baseball, but when it comes to anything representing their country, they don't care because, like you said, it's an escape for what they're dealing with in the real world, and you can't take that away from people because that's what gives them happiness. That's what gives them a fulfill of joy for that one instance. And for you, the person that doesn't care, then guess what? Like Kev said, don't watch it, but don't complain either because you gave your choice away when you said it's worthless. That we don't care about your opinion. I'm sorry, like we just don't care about your opinion because guess what? Even though I'm not Dominican or I'm not Puerto Rican, I enjoyed that game because guess what? They did something that I don't see a lot of teams do in the States, and they bunted. They
Exactly.
played
You
fundamental
saw me. I
baseball.
got excited.
I
I
already
got
know,
excited for
yeah.
that Maldonado bunt.
And I mean, you saw me. You know, I said the same thing that you said. I said, "Dang, why Yankees can't do that? We have the players to do it. Like that's an exciting thing to do. I just don't understand that. And like we have athletic, players in the states, but they don't play as hard as some of the international players. Even look, I don't like Otani, but I'm sorry, Otani's better than probably 40% of the white people that play baseball. And it's sad to say, but it's the truth. So
Yeah, you're right.
it's the point that these other countries, I just feel like, and it kills me to say this because I'm not going to say everybody in the states is not hungry because they are certain hungry people, but it just seemed like every other country is more hungry than we are, and that's sad to
You're right.
say. That's sad.
You're right. These folks coming here because they want to better their life. This is the land of opportunities, the land of opportunities of milk of honey that they call it. They coming here starving for the opportunities that we are born to. The problem is we're not executing and taking advantage of those privileges that these folks coming outside from outside the country to want to take that. And of course, it's not gonna. I'm not trying to turn it into political or anything like that. But when it comes to the world of sports, look at they were criticizing Lindor. You know what? One was the most stupid thing that I said. You know what? I have to raise my hands up. They were complaining about Lindor when he ran out that little league home run inside the park when Julio Rodriguez misplayed the ball in center field and went all the way to center field, all the way to wall. He round those bases. He ran so fast. I mean, my God, he was like he was running like his soul was being removed from his body. That's how fast he was, and he ran around those bases. Oh, why can't he do it with the Mets? Why, oh, you have to do that for the Puerto Rican national. Oh my God, dude, Chris, I was like, my goodness, it was vile. It was just it was terrible hearing. It was a sad day in sports radio for me.
Yeah, I can tell. I don't know, Kev. It's just like the international players want to play for their team, but like you said, like Gary Cole and Judge and people like that don't want to play for their own country. I wonder why.
That's another reason, and that's the good question. We could make a video on that on why, because we're starting to see. You know what? Also, Chris, we're also seeing like you mentioned about the international players. We're starting to see the gap totally change in the world of basketball. Because you look right now, the top NBA players, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, they're not born in this country.
Yeah, and
they're not born. They're not born. They're taking over. The international players taking over on the American player.
Jokic from the Denver Nuggets.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
When Dirk was playing, I mean, even Steve Nash. I mean, Steve Nash not American. I don't know.
Right.
It's just it seemed like I said, it just, and then like you said, like the talent is creeping up on the states, and it's sad because we have the ability to be better than any other country because we have the resources, but like you said, we don't take advantage of it, and that's sad because you got other countries coming over and they take advantage of it. So not only do they soak up what they learn from their country, they soak up what they learn from our country, and that's the problem.
That's exactly the issue, and of course, and it's a video we could go on for hours speaking about that. Even when it comes to the basketball, even with basketball, you know, one thing that made national basketball really great, they allowed the kids they had to make the kids go 2 to 3 years in college, one and done. Then they go into the NBA. They're not ready. These guys are not ready. These kids are not ready to play a professional sport. That's why these international players come out, because they're playing. They're playing, and they're playing the fundamentals of basketball correctly. They're not running around in the AAU. But let's face it, AAU basketball is just popularity. If oh well, this guy is paying the coach. Oh, he's sponsored by this guy's kid because he one of the ex-ball players' kid, and we'll play him amount of minutes. We'll get a couple players and so forth. It's all politics. It's all nonsense, and that's why when they become to the pros, they don't go anywhere. The international player comes and gobbles them up. That's why the collegiate level, they had to go to college to play those 3 to 4 years and grow and learn the college basketball game, play the game correctly, fundamental, knows how to do a give and go, pick and roll. And of course, I don't want to get into the basketball because we'll be here. We're going to wrap up real quick. I just wanted to say those things. We're starting to see the disparity, and too much money, politics, and gambling are being affected when it comes to American sports, in my opinion. And it comes with the AU, and it comes from all that, from basketball, from um, baseball, AAU, really expensive. And you're starting to see that, and it's starting to affect our professional games. It hasn't affected American football because you all know American football, we're the only country that really right now wants to play. But although this commissioner wants to grow, it makes you wonder when we'll start seeing international players. Things are going to change when we get the first international quarterback that comes out there and gunslings from outside of the United States. Then we're going to be like, oh shit, seriously.
Yeah, like that's the only thing. I don't see too many international players in football. But I mean, like you said, like gambling is taking control. I mean, sometimes when I watch football, I really think it's just rigged. Like, I mean,
there's so much things there with it. Yes, go, yeah, Chris, yeah.
Because I mean, I'm a Saints fan, and I mean, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Saints fan. Like, it was the year when we played the Rams and they called a pass interference. I was so blatant. I was like, yeah. After that, I was like, yeah. That's how I know the NFL is rigged, because that was a basic call that a ref was right there. He could have called it and didn't, and cost us a Super Bowl. So I just I understand you want to make money off of sports and stuff like that, but it's getting to the point where it's getting too ridiculous about it.
When this one, I think that's why we say, oh, well, that's football, the numbers don't go down, the numbers always increase, more people watch the Super Bowl than anything else. Yeah, because you gamble for anything on that damn sport. You lock yourself up in the football pools and the sheets with the numbers, the boxes. You're freaking gambling about the coin toss, how long the national anthem is going to go along, how long the commercial is going to go on. If you betting anything, if they're going to show a fat guy on TV first, or anything is a bet. Seriously, and that's why it's so popular, because you're going to make money. You make. That's why football's popular. Also, it's a weekly sport. Who plays, and they play it in the winter time, when half of the north part of the country is in winter. They're mostly the nights get shorter. It's cold as hell. You don't do much outdoor activities. You're indoors. You're eating. You're watching TV. That's why baseball don't have the numbers. Why? Because people in the summertime, you're crammed up all the time in the damn house. You get beautiful weather, you're gonna go out to the beach, the lakes, the pools, outside. You're gonna go do something outdoors. And plus, you can't go to the baseball. Well, go to the game. You can't, because you get outpriced. These tickets are damn expensive for a family of four to go to a baseball game. It's going to cost you almost more than $1,000. When I mentioned earlier, you got both parents working 2 jobs, both parents, and no one supervising much of the kids because they got to work just to keep the lights on and the roof over your head. You can't afford a baseball game. And it's expensive. So guess what? Now summertime, you're not going to the baseball game. It's too expensive. Or you might go to one, but you're not going to many. And that's why you don't get the interest and the love and the support on the baseball. And that's a hand in hand. And it's a big compound problem. And that's why, and it just goes back again. It's a PR nightmare. what can we do about it? I don't know, Chris. I really don't know. With that, and of course, it goes back to the baseball classic. Why are we getting mad when these players want to go represent their country? Because we're paying out of our asses to go watch these guys play. If major league tickets is expensive, league MLB ticket, MLB extra innings is expensive as hell to get it. The jerseys alone is expensive. The shirts, the jerseys, the hats, memorabilia, anything. Even if you get a pair of socks of your team's logo, you're spending $20. If they want to go play, represent their country, I'm all right with it, Chris.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why would somebody have a problem with it, because guess what? It's their choice, not yours. And you don't pay their checks. The owners pay their checks. So if the owners say it's okay, it's okay. Clearly, Cole didn't have a problem with it because he would have said something.
Right.
He didn't. So I don't know what the issue is. And like me and Kev said, it's not the point that y'all mad because he got hurt. Y'all trying to blame the World Baseball Classic that he got hurt. But again, what me and Kev are trying to get y'all to understand, it could have happened anytime. So stop trying to, like I said, stop trying to take the fun out of baseball. Like, you might not enjoy the Baseball Classic, but people like me and Kev and other fans, we do. So guess what? If you don't like something, do not watch it. And that's all I'm gonna
I
say about
agree.
that.
I agree with you, and don't give. And if you don't like it, you don't agree with it, you don't want to see it, and it's okay for you to say you don't like it and voice your opinion. But when you start putting vicious and vicious venom and racial venom or crappy Puerto Rican team putting down to further your dislike, that's where I draw the line there. You don't, you may not like it. Listen, and I'm gonna say it from me personally. I don't like. I'm not liking the product or All Elite Wrestling, but I'm not gonna put down the wrestlers because they're out there busting their asses, entertaining us, and putting their bodies on the line. I just don't like the way the organization is being ran. And doesn't, but am I gonna put down? Am I gonna put down wrestler that go out there and bust their ass, and go out there, no. I don't like the product, but I'm not gonna come out here and say, you know what, the wrestlers, he no, he's a talented male or female, but they're out there. That's what we're asking you to do the same with when it comes to the World Baseball. If you don't watch it, there's a lot of other things. NCAA tournament just started. Go watch the basketball. If you don't like the basketball, XFL is going on. If you don't like that XFL, then you know what, NBA basketball. If you don't like NBA basketball, I don't know what to tell you. Get a video game system. If you don't want a video game system, can't afford that. Learn how to paint. Do something creative. Go help. Go feed from your extra food that you throw out, and go find a homeless person and give them a warm meal. Then something, but just be positive and don't be so tear down. That's the problem with this. Everyone wants to tear down to make, I don't know what their gratification is, to feel better about it, but don't cross the race line, and don't cross the narrative that, oh, dumb Puerto Rican or even or any team, any national team, any team, United States, anyone you respect. That's all I gotta say with that. With that said, just respect. I know it could happen to anyone. It sucks, but just hear us out there. Major League Baseball and the World Baseball Classic has a PR nightmare or crisis, and I hope that this World Baseball Classic unites us with this injury from Edwin Diaz even more, and I hope that people are invigorated and want to watch the Major League Baseball product. And of course, what you guys are doing is making a case for the people that support the World Baseball Classic. See, this is why I don't want to watch MLB baseball. You got a bunch of spoiled, nasty fans. Oh, I rather go watch my team, Dominican Republic or Team Puerto Rico, because if I'm a Red Sox fan, if I go to Yankee Stadium, I'm using my own Yankees. I'm gonna get spit on, and I'm gonna get thrown with stuff, and I know I don't want to go there. No. If I go to the Philadelphia, those fans are nuts. If I wear my Mets jersey or my Braves, they're gonna treat me. They're gonna throw mayonnaise. They're gonna throw ketchup packets. Nah, forget it. I'd rather go watch Team Dominican, when I'm gonna be surrounded with my Dominican fans, my Dominican people, my gente, and I know if anything gets stupid, they got my back. And that's why. And people like that with those kind of comments make that point of why people kind of stay away from MLB product, Chris.
Yeah. I I don't know. I just know I wasn't raised like because you said the racial slur and stuff like that. I wasn't raised to put down other people. I can't describe on how people feel, especially the past with the whole racial thing and stuff like that. But I had nothing to do with it. So I know me personally, I love everybody the same, regardless if you're Dominican, Puerto Rican, African American, white. I, I I don't care. And even if we're friends and you like other stuff, I'm still not gonna put you down because we're friends for a reason. It don't have to be. We don't have to like the same stuff.
Right.
So I don't know. People like we said, Kev. People are so ignorant, and they need to get out of that because the shit. Excuse my language. The shit ain't cute.
Right. No, it's
So
not.
it just it I don't know. I just wasn't. I don't know. I just wasn't raised like that. So like I said, like if anybody's hearing this and didn't like what happened to Edwin Diaz because of the World Baseball Classic, all I gotta say is you can kiss everybody else's ass and you can go do whatever it makes you happy because guess what? Stuff like that, like me and Kev, we enjoy baseball like that. We don't blame baseball for people getting hurt. It just happens. So if you got a problem with somebody celebrating with their country and stuff like that, then I don't know what to tell you. But just stop complaining about the stupidest stuff.
I agree. And my final thoughts, I'm gonna give you my final. For those people that are saying about these national again, I advise you guys that make that comment about national team. Go visit. I had the privilege a couple years ago, about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I had the privilege before the borders were closed, before COVID and all that, to go visit Cuba. And I just went to Havana, and I saw beautiful beautiful island, and I also saw the poverty, and I also saw the kids that want to play baseball, and I saw I also been to Honduras, and I seen the poverty there. I seen the different things that happen. How they gather one, a soccer ball, just a piece of plastic, round ball there with no not much air in, and play for hours, putting two bricks or rocks as their goalie post, where a bunch of the kids from the neighborhood come together to play a sport. I seen the different levels of different poverty. We seen it in Puerto Rico, the different places where they only have baseball fields and they play baseball. So in Panama, you saw the Mariano Rivera story. You guys have to live it or see it with your own eyes. Then you'll appreciate that we are here spoiled. Because guess what? One thing, I never went through play baseball without a glove. I always had a baseball glove when I played. If my parents couldn't get a glove for me, guess what? When my uncle would take me to Yankee Stadium, giveaway day. I know they weren't the best one, but when there was a Yankee giveaway, I had a baseball glove. I had a bat, and I will practice with it. They don't have that luxury in those countries where they have a giveaway, where Citibank or whoever the case was sponsors and give bat day in Yankee Stadium or the glove and all that stuff. These kids, they play with the means that they have, not much. So I advise you guys, if you wanna make something positive, donate. Simply, you hate the World Baseball Classic, you hate that. You know what? Why don't you get some equipment, some old equipment that some of these players don't want, or if your kids stop playing baseball, or you stop playing baseball, instead of throwing it out, donate it, get it, send it to someone in one of these countries, and maybe you might impact a life of a young kid that doesn't have the means to play baseball or glove or bat, or a hat. Just send it to, I don't know, just go to, there's a lot of churches and organizations that do these missions. Send it to Haiti where they can learn how to play baseball. Man, how much would I would love Haiti to start playing baseball too. Where you will have a Haiti team taking on Dominican Republic, the neighbors of the same country, playing in the World Baseball Classic. That's going to be bananas. The camaraderie, the exhibition that we see there, that back and forth, or different Trinidad Tobago, all these different Bahamas. You will love to see that and really grow the game. You want to do something instead of criticizing, tearing down the World Baseball Classic. Why don't you just donate a box of balls to the country. Like I have a baseball or gloves, stuff, different stuff, softballs. Don't forget the ladies as well, the young ladies. Where some of these countries, maybe they could play some sports, and maybe will a big impact, something minor. I think we should do that. I think the message tonight, if we should come out with that, donate something. If instead of donating negative words and donating hate and division and venom, let's donate some time. Let's donate some equipment. Let's donate some stuff for not just even basketball, anything that has to do with sports, because I think sports makes the world go around. And when sports brings the highs and a lot of escape, it brings a lot of highs and a lot of escape for a lot of people. And I think we need to start doing that, thinking about the youth here, and not just worried about our pockets or FanDuel or how much money I'm going to hit on a parlay. If I put $25 on the odds instead of, what, if you do hit, let's put it this way. I challenge you guys. If you guys do hit and you win a couple, I know we're hard on money. Why don't you take a 10%? 10% of what you make on your gambling bets that you win, and donate that to sporting goods. Buy some sporting goods and send something to somewhere. Just pick a country, random country. It doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to be Puerto Rico, it has to be Dominican Republic. Just find a country, send them some equipment. I challenge anyone who could listen to the video to do that. And I think we'll make a big impact in this world.
Yeah, because I'm gonna let y'all know this too before we log off on this. I see how y'all treating these international players. Well, I'm gonna let you know one more thing. How y'all gonna feel when they because Kev brought it up with the women? How y'all gonna feel if they got women in the sport in baseball that's actually playing the sport? Because that's gonna happen soon. Trust me, it's gonna happen. And I can't wait, because I feel like women in this country, they don't get the just due sometimes. And yes, they are very emotional, but some of them are just as good as us men. So I can't wait for that day to happen, because the women are creeping into the sport. Like they got coaches, they got people in the front office. I can't wait to see a player, because I want to see how people's going to react to, oh, she's a female, she can't play. And I can't wait. I really can't wait, Kev.
Hey, it's gonna eventually happen there. It's gonna happen there. I don't know. We'll probably be a little more older, but we'll probably be able to see it in our lifetime. God willing, I think we'll see it with that. And of course, again, don't forget to hit the like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We'll hit that notification bell when we do Yankee Watch Along. We'll love to see you guys comment, enjoy it. I hope you kind of enjoy this video. Again, if anyone's offended by our comments, our opinions, we do want to apologize with it, but those are our opinions, our thoughts with it. We again, we apologize if it offended you, but we had to tell you our part. We didn't try to diminish or tear anyone down. We gave you our criticism, our humble thoughts, our what we're speaking about, and what we dislike and don't like, of what we're hearing from not just the Met fans, but all baseball, all the different sports radio hosts that were tearing down the World Baseball Classic, and the disrespect that they had for it. But those are our thoughts, those are our opinion. But again, like we always say, we thank you guys for listening to us, letting us vent, giving us the time, the opportunity to be part of this channel. And of course, we'll continue always to break things down and always be positive. Always may the sports be with you guys. We have a blessed night, and of course, we'll see you. Yes, go ahead, Chris.
I want to end off this, because I know you like it. If you like what we said, or you dislike what we said, we got 2 words for you. Just subscribe.
Good night.